Now, young women are being warned about falling victim to job scams on social media, which are promising work overseas. The offers are said to be in construction and hospitality, but reports suggest they could instead lead to work in a Russian drone factory. The Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities has raised alarm over these alleged scams, which appear to specifically target South African women between the ages of 18 and 22. So, how serious is this threat, and what is government doing to protect young women from potential exploitation? The Deputy Minister, Steve Litzige, now joining us to unpack this a little bit more. Deputy Minister, appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining us. It's not the first time something like this has happened, and perhaps we can just get your immediate response to the saga as it currently plays out right now on social media.
Thank you so much to you and to the viewers of Newzroom. Indeed, we've been having reports about this job offer, targeting young girls between the ages of 18 to 22. And I think that immediately raised flags. And that's why we have taken this up as a department with already our Department of International Relations and Cooperative to say already engage with the Russian government first to verify this information about the site, about the institutions, and also not to undermine the bilateral agreement or relation in terms of South Africa and Russian government for that matter. But immediately, we also have cautioned and called for caution to say no 18-year-old to 22-year-old should be targeted for that matter. These are young people that should already be going into TVET colleges, university to further their studies. Why are they targeted for that matter? And immediately raise flags around potential exploitation, sex trafficking, and many other harms that may result out of these scams that are coming out.
You've said that engaging in those bilaterals with Russia would be very important right now. Are you able to share whether that has begun and how far that process is? Has Russia been able to verify some of these sources and how this whole thing ultimately looks on both sides?
Immediately, yesterday, Minister of International Relations, Minister Lamola, has alerted us that there are engagements to follow through up. So we are waiting for confirmation from the Department of International Relations. But already, even DECO itself, through DDG, have warned and cautioned, to saying this is something that is unheard of. You would understand that both Russia and South Africa has had a long-standing relationship, a diplomatic relationship. So any kind of facilitated initiative would have known through our bilateral relation. And this is not one of them that would target so many of young people for that matter into this. First, we also need to understand how many girls have already been taken into this program, startup program, and if that is the case, we would need to understand the process and the procedure. We have absolutely no information in relation to the number of young people that have already been targeted for this program and that are already in Russia for that matter.
That becomes even more unfortunate. Have you been able to collaborate with these social media companies, whether it be Meta, the owners of Facebook and Instagram, even TikTok on some level, to try and understand how this is going onto their sites and these fraudulent job postings and the result thereof, and whether those can be removed?
Listen, because this may already even serve as a potential risk, security risk to our own country, we've put together a list of, the social media influencers. And because this we want to hand over to law enforcement agencies to engage and to investigate and link of the substance of this. But there are other institutions that have been listed, like the Black Women, BRICS Women's Alliance and Association, which we will be engaging for that matter, because these institutions are legitimate institutions, in South Africa. And if any case for that matter that you are alerting this, and they already are releasing press statement, these influencers are already removing videos, you can imagine how much of the risk this is associated. Our interest as a department is to protect young women. No 18-year-old should be subjected to this.
Yeah.
And we need to alert young women and their parents or families that they need to be alert. No unemployment should be weaponized to actually exploit any young person in South Africa, and protection is our primary aspect or focus for this matter.
How many social media influencers are you looking at here? Do you have an estimation with regards to that? Because that will determine the spread and the scourge and how large it is.
So far, we have in our list over 10 influencers identified who already are starting to put out public apologies, removing videos, but we already have over 10 influencers who have already advertised this startup program. And in their own communication, they've alerted to being recruited to advertise these. But I mean, there are others who came out and already who have been in touch with us and said, we were reached out as an influencer and we refused. So you can actually see that there's a bit of cooperation that is coming out, and we would like to work with them to actually identify the source of this that may bring a serious scrutiny and a security issue for us.
Minister, this may be, Deputy Minister, this may be a little bit out of your purview, but I'm going to ask nonetheless because you might be able to provide us with this answer, and it's really with regards to the kind of repercussions that could come to those that are found to have been in collaboration here, whether knowingly or unknowingly, as some of them have pointed out. What could be the implications for those influencers?
Listen, there is a kind of way where you look at some of the issues around disinformation and misinformation. And our country have been experiencing a number of this where, you know, people promote specific propaganda, misinformation and disinformation. There is, of course, criminal offenses that are linked to any activities that may put the security of the country at risk. And at this stage, you know, we are engaging, you know, to look into what may happen to these. There are consequences. People must know that we cannot advertise, you know, any kind of misinformation that will mislead and that potentially may put people at harm or at risk. And these are some of the things that we are looking into. Our country has a strategy and has got laws that protects South Africans. We cannot expose South Africans to any kind of harm or risk. And if anyone is found to that, they will be, of course, taken to task against the law.
So does that mean that the SAPS is included in some way, or law enforcement is at least included in the conversations you'll be having around this?
They will be included, certainly. Law enforcement agencies are part of it. We are not a law enforcement agency. We will definitely fight for the rights of South Africans according to our administration led by President Ramaphosa.
Yeah, let's talk about very quickly partnerships with schools, universities, community leaders, etc., trying to ensure that they're part of this progress, because it can be community-led, where then we avoid this happening in future.
Absolutely. This is preventable indeed, you know, but we have to understand that people are desperate, but we don't want anyone to be subjected to any kind of harm. Our own, you know, unemployment rate put people at risk and at a desperate moment for that matter, even those who want to help for that matter. But I think schools, universities, but also community stakeholders, we've got quite a lot of NGOs doing community work, quite a lot of social workers and so forth that are doing incredible work. We need to prevent this. Parents, families are also central to this, because we do need you know, information that helps young people, guide young people to make the right kind of decisions, verify information and so forth. So it's quite important that no member of society must remove themselves in the role that seeks to protect young people. Indeed, of course, young women in this case.
Deputy Minister, it must be the hardest thing to be able to police something like this, though, because it springs up at any moment. It could be on different platforms in various ways, different people, you know, real, unreal in some cases. Is there a desire and a need to now put forward a technological team of some sort that scours the ability to do this?
Look, for a number of months now, you have been aware that I've been raising issues around soft violence and the role of online spaces. You know, this is not about, you know, curbing creativity or how, you know, young people must explore the use of digital spaces. I mean, it comes with so much benefits because it connects people, but at the same time, there are risks associated to it. And this is some of the things that we constantly have to deal with. So we are engaging with various stakeholders. Various departments must take responsibility to make sure that online safety is key, but also individuals as well. Many South Africans are already into technology advancement, and many South Africans are exploring the use of, you know, fourth industrial revolution and the innovation that comes with it. But at the same time, we must never be blind to the literacy that comes with digital usage, spaces, safety, and also measures that must prevent any kind of harm or risk to people.
Deputy Minister, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the self-confessed killer then, Lazarus Antonio, who made his first appearance in court yesterday in Hammanskraal, having killed his ex-girlfriend, then Gaugelo Marota, then to death. And just to get your sense, one, of that, but two, how do we ensure that something like that does not happen? How do we as a department continue to deal with GBV, the exploitation of it, and then the showcasing of it as it then happens on social media?
Look, you know, one must never shy away that our country is facing the most crisis of gender-based violence. This is not just about laws and policies. We have already introduced laws and policies that seeks to prevent, but also that seeks to respond to gender-based violence. We need to go deep into the psychological insight. We need to go to the systematic drivers that exist, that finds ourselves into this level, but also in terms of people coming out and talking about it so freely, to saying, I've done it, to that level. I mean, many of the health professionals, particularly psychologists and psychiatrists, are deepening into this issue. South Africa is in a crisis. Homes and families and households are not regulated, and gender-based violence predominantly happens there. If parents, families are not confronting this issue, you know, we cannot shift a blame just to government. We must, as South Africans, look into ourselves around how we respond to gender-based violence, the role of men, the role of women, dealing with toxic masculinity and structures of our broken families that we have to heal from, but also to have to confront around how do we raise better children, better young people, so that we prevent gender-based violence. And those who actually perpetrate gender-based violence, we mustn't take this as just a light issue. It's about lives, and they must face all might of the law, including justice for survivors of violence.
Deputy Minister for the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, Steve Lizige, thank you so much for the time.